Hello, my ladies and pretty gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Look What's Happening in the Spirit Realm with yours truly, Light. Today, I have a special message for my divine feminines and divine masculine out there. I'm going to start by saying some people, God sort of blinded their insight, their intuition, their ability to see you, because you weren't distinctly created to prioritize the material world. There is an ushering happening, sort of like a transition being opened, a portal being opened for a lot of you out there who felt such burden existing in this world and doing the regular day-to-day 3D situations that people seem to be seemingly content in, the rat race, so to speak. Spirit is opening a portal for some of you out there, and I'm hearing it's the divine feminines and the divine masculines. There is a purpose that you need to fulfill, and it's not a mission like you're a robot or a soldier. It's a burden that's being taken off of you, but it's going to come with a sudden ending to certain situations. I'm sure a lot of you have already moved away from situations that don't serve you, but I'm talking about physical things like perhaps a job that you're doing or a career that you've been chasing, whatever the case might be for you, something that has made you uneasy, something that had been at one point a necessity to exist. There is a burden being lifted. And a lot of you are being ushered into the spiritual side of your life. Like, there are a group of you in the collective being moved into literally the spirit realm, like where your life, your material life, is also going to be reflecting the spirit life. And there isn't going to be a disharmony, a dissonance between the two. There is a path being carved for you, and it's going to feel like everything you've been told not to do. It's going to feel so right, yet very scary. And it's going to happen swiftly. And a lot of the things that have been necessary at one point, some of the jobs that you've had, some of the connections that you've made, even if they're fresh ones, are going to fall away. And there's like, you don't have a say in it to some extent, because your soul, you have up-leveled in a very special way. Like, you have genuinely anchored in so much of your higher self that the material is lifting up to meet you on that level in the spirit realm. A lot of you are being ushered into what I saw in my reading, the other half of the journey that is outside of the material. And what that means a lot of the time is the material is going to reflect right back. It's almost like your heavenly realm, your life and your heavenly life is being anchored down, and you're having to relinquish things that you've had that have sustained you up until this point. You're gonna know when the time comes, because everything is being planned and orchestrated to unfold exactly like it should be. And all the people, you're gonna realize all the people that didn't see you, that couldn't find your potential, that didn't have room for you in their lives, all of that, frankly, was mostly your ancestors for a lot of you, your guides, spirit, literally giving them illusions about you. Literally casting shadows of fog in a mirror situation. And they were working overtime to make sure some of these people couldn't see you, that they betrayed you, because you were being prepared to live in a way that a lot of people never get a chance to live before they pass on. You were being prepared to live genuinely anchored into the spirit and the physical matching that. Not having to live two separate lives, if you get what I mean. You are being so congruent, so unified to your higher self, that the material is molding, bending, and surrendering to the potency that you've anchored in the higher realms. And you will realize that a lot of this disillusionment that people had about you, and a lot of them even ran their mouth and dug their grave, was honestly, they were being pawns in the larger movie, as I like to call it, the game or whatever. Because you were being prompted to get rid of them, to X them out. Because more likely than not, a lot of things had been paused until you did that. Because these people, like I've mentioned several times in my videos, didn't have good intentions for you. They saw you as a ticket of prosperity, even when you were poor. They saw you when you felt like you weren't quite sure. You had, you know yourself, you had your wherewithal, but you had some kind of dissonance. You wanted to feel acknowledged by people, approved by people. And in that stage in your life, a lot of people came in and wanted to anchor their position in your life, not because they cared, not because they had the warm and the fuzzies for you. No, they had the warm and the fuzzies for your light and what that would bring. In the back of their mind, they saw where you ranked in the spirit realm. In the back of their mind, they knew that reality caters to you. Reality literally bends to you. You are a walking miracle and a miracle magnet. You are the Ace of Pentacles for a lot of these people, like I've mentioned in my other video. So your guide spirit was creating so much disillusion for them that they couldn't see you, so much so that they started to act in such a mischievous, deceptive, outwardly disrespectful way, to the point where you, with your massive forgiving heart, couldn't take the shit anymore and you had to cut them out. And spirit was just like, finally, because they weren't supposed to come with you. But this to say, a lot of you, my divine feminines and masculines, you are walking into a position that was yours before you were born. You are walking into the house, the throne, the whatever you want to call it, that has been built specifically under your frequency, that you and only you can operate. And it's going to be so natural to you, so effortless to you. You're going to realize why your life was so riddled with discomfort when it came to fitting into this material world, doing what other people do, getting a regular job, finishing this job, finishing that school. You're going to realize why a lot of the things that felt like you were grinding gears felt that way. It's because I've mentioned before, a lot of you watching are already ascended. You are merely a helper here. And your position had been prepared, and with the obstacles were pawns to genuinely anchor you in your power without wavering. Because of your kindness, you really do end up being a fool for people. That had to be worked out. And now there is a sort of transition happening, like a graduation, spiritually speaking, where you're being moved from having mastered the material and how to maneuver your emotions and how to control them, how to utilize them, into now being literally a master in incarnation. This is exactly what you came here to do. This is the ripple effect that you wanted to create. And this is why you've been so odd. This is why you didn't really fit in. This is why you felt like you had to wear all these different masks to convince people that you are people. It's because you are otherworldly. You are a helper, as I've mentioned before. And your place is coming if it's not already here. And a lot of you can feel it. It's this calmness, this settledness, this, you don't quite know what's coming, but there is something that is yours. And it's going to fit like a glove. I'm hearing Cinderella's shoes. Only you can wear it, and nobody can take it, nor can they eat from it, Because a lot of these people, I'm going to tell you this because I saw this in my spiritual dreams. When you were out of the room, if these people were in your life, if you didn't go through the trials that you went through with them, what would happen is they would set aside their blessing. They would set aside their food, their abundance, their thing, to literally wine and dine on yours, and they would spare nothing. If it's finances, same thing. And the energy I got from that was, how do we deplete this person? Because they see you as an infinite source, because you are connected to source, a very pure channel of it. And they don't think that they can drain your blood enough. And they can't relate with you to consider you as a person who feels pain like they consider each other. Because you are what? What? Otherworldly. They can sense that in the back of their conscience. And this is why you've been treated awfully. You've been treated like knives to your heart were nothing. That people didn't even need to apologize to you. They didn't even need to consider you as a person who was able to be wounded. It's because you are an ascended one. You came here awakened, to awaken, to initiate. You are a savior. You are a God. I'm going to say this, point blank, period. And your place, your position it's coming. A lot of you are transitioning, literally living in the spirit in the physical form. And a lot of changes are happening to the point where this world isn't really, like, the energetic understanding, the energetic language is changing. And people aren't even noticing it because it's a minuscule change every single day, but it's creating a drastic shift of consciousness. And you are at the forefront in many ways. You are supposed to lead your bloodline. There is a distinct crown, one a chosen, one a guide to every single bloodline. And my divine feminines and masculines watching this, you are one such. And there is no more challenges. There are no more. They're holding their peace. A lot of them have been sat down. They have nothing more to say. You have quite literally transitioned into the spirit realm. You've anchored it so much so that there is no mud that they can sling at you to bring you to their level. You aren't even here with them in the same place. Never have been. This is why they heard you, but they couldn't understand you. Because you'd always been functioning on a different timeline. Because you came here to lift this timeline, lift people up. And I just, sorry, kind of got out of nowhere. Own it. Take it. Take charge. And nobody is gonna know your self-doubts. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody. And you know what? The real ones won't care. Your time is here, is all I'm trying to say here. And I hope this message resonated with you. I feel like I had one last tiny thing to say. This reminds me. If you want to get my attention, right? If you're trying to get my attention, you will never get my attention by spamming my emails. Ever. That is one way to never hear from me again. Just saying. And a special thank you to those of you who have created this community with me, and those of you who are returning for readings. Like, you are literally building a community, and it wouldn't be one without you. And I'm truly, truly humbled and grateful and thankful for you, that you feel seen, and it makes me feel seen. So I appreciate you, and I'm sending you so much love and appreciation. Everything you need to know is in the description box. As usual, I do not reach out to you for anything, okay? Those are scammers. Anyway, with that being said, bye.